Hello and welcome to the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. Broadcasts recently have said that the next big event is going to be the 14th of June. That's actually not true. It is a big event, but we still need 5 million people to show up in Washington, D.C. on June 6th. Now, one of the protests are going to take place around the White House, the other at the National Mall. So you can get details from We Are the Flood, hashtag We Are the Flood, and other entities, I'm sure. Everybody's participating. We need to make this the biggest protest before the Trump birthday party on June 14th. I would like to do a shout out right quick, because I'm about to get off of here and do something else, to our new Pope. Everybody in MAGA is livid. He is the new black Pope. He's woke. He is Marxist. He is all these other things. Well, none of these people have ever looked up Marxism. Woke was a term that was used way before people like DeSantis made it into a bad word. And now, because MAGA has limited vocabulary and a plethora of stupidity, they just spew words out. And now they're putting those words into documents that are going to make our children and grandchildren ashamed to be Americans. We have already made the rest of the world wonder what we're doing. We are not doing that. Okay? And I want to also give out a statement to our NATO allies. There may come a time where we need help from you. I don't know what that looks like, because every time anything's ever happened outside of the United States, we've been a part of NATO, and we fought and we died for those causes. Now I am asking you and the World Court and United Nations to please pay attention to what is going on in the United States, because some people don't have a passport. Some people might be refugees. Some people might need asylum. That's what I see right now. So I need everyone outside of the United States to not sympathize with our collective stupidity, but understand racism, understand gerrymandering, understand how votes were always cast through United States history and moved this way or that based on the white population. Right now, we are about to become a minority majority population. And that's why we have a Holocaust about to begin. We have mayors being arrested from big cities for no reason, with no cause. Yes, they are released, and that's a comfort. However, the fact that they were arrested in the first place must make you question where we are right now. We absolutely have to take all of this seriously, because for every person that is detained and released, there are at least 50 who have disappeared into El Salvador and are about to disappear in other places. Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, and Steve Miller are monsters. They are absolute monsters. And if this had been a country in South America, Vietnam, Asia, or anywhere else, even the Middle East, these people would have been targeted by the United States government's intelligence and they would have been arrested and tried for humanitarian crimes. This is no longer sustainable. I'm not going to say it's not accepted and we're going to stand against it and all that, because nobody is doing anything from any place else. As a Native American and a black person who has been oppressed since the inception of this nation, I have paid taxes religiously so that I could comply with the rules of America. Those taxes went to countries that I did not agree with their policies on extermination, like Israel. And back in the day, when it was cool to support everything that waved the flag, I paid taxes into that. Now, in the 1980s, some of us were taught to question everything because we were taught about Adolf Hitler and the Holocaust. Now, the same people who were birthed from those who survived that are using anti-Semitism in the United States to foster retribution against black people, Muslim people, and Latinos at the same time. They are using that cloak of anti-Semitism to exterminate the people of Palestine. This is not my view. This is fact. The numbers support what I am saying. Anti-Semitism in America, just like slavery and stealing of American land, is the law of the land and manifest destiny. And they never forgot that. So if any white person tells you that DEI, wokeism, and affirmative action is stopping their progress in America, you need to ask them how much they pay in taxes. What is their net worth? How much is the pair of shoes they wear on their feet? Because these booty Barbie bitches going down to El Salvador with watches from Rolex are not suffering because of black people. Millions of Americans live off of less than what I do a month. Millions. My monthly income is $300 per month. That's it. Medicaid keeps me alive. I have worked a job since I was 15 years old. I have been a cook, an electrician, a deckhand on a boat, an iron worker, and a manager of many businesses. My proudest achievement in my life was being a public servant. Unfortunately, that has led to my poor health in a lot of ways, and ensured that I would not get the riches that the people who don't like me get. Tonight, I feel very whole. Because you have to be a very empty person to spend every waking hour of your day crafting. How are you going to hurt excuse me, people who have less than you? My father, who was a public servant, said to me, the camera only catches what it sees. So when you see Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, and Marco Rubio doing what they do, the camera is catching that satanic ritual. It is absolutely, positively evil. I am not a Christian, but I know evil when I see it. I'm going to be okay. A lot of people said they felt sorry for Donald Trump because he's crazy or whatever. I don't have the luxury of feeling sorry for people who oppress me. I don't have that luxury. I have to plant food. I have to fight for every dime I have because I have been robbed of what I paid into the system. That's okay. That is okay. Because unlike the Kristi Noems and the Donald Trumps and the Kash Patels and the Stephen Millers and the people who look down on me and say we're going to own the libs, you know what, motherfucker? I am the lib. And you know why I'm the lib? Because I'm educated. Because I worked all my life. I didn't wait for some fat fuck to hand me a check in Appalachia because I couldn't get a coal mining job. I didn't involve myself in insider trading. I didn't deal opioids to a white public and then sit there and act like we had a crisis. Because all of a sudden now, you know, it's the cool thing, the opioid crisis. They didn't target Big Pharma, which is putting these things out on the streets, these pills. They targeted China and Mexico. That's the scapegoat. And the difference between what is happening now in a revolution and spoon-fed idiots is when Donald Trump says the opioids are coming from China and they're coming from Mexico and every other country he wants to blame for it. Your dumbass believes him. I can't fix stupid. I really can't. Because you motherfuckers are really beyond dumb. Really fucking beyond dumb. And it's perplexing how you can't just get on the internet. Alright? Since you're going to own the libs and you're the dominant race. Why don't you be dominant up here? Because you never will dominate us in the streets. So why don't you get inside your own dumbass head and look this shit up on the internet? Look at Beretta Corporation. Alright? Look at that. And how much money they have been feeding into Donald Trump. So they could export their garbage overseas. Plastic guns. You know how I know that? I worked for him. But you think that's the better brand because some orange Jesus told you you should buy it. And he named them. You are absolutely the scum of the earth. And all the news today proved it. The scum. You are not educated. You are not acknowledged by the rest of the population. You can get out there and you can put on your Proud Boy shit and you can post whatever you want on the internet. But I don't see you on the streets. Just like I didn't see Mr. Garcia and Miss 13 and all that. I'm not walking out of my house every day threatened by MS-13. I'm not walking out of my house threatened by the flood of immigrants coming into America. I'm threatened in my house by the Trump regime. The Gestapos that have been organized in every state, every province, every federal agency of America that was supposed to protect American citizens. I don't go out of my house expecting that the American military is going to protect the United States Constitution and my rights. What I expect when I go out the door is I have to do everything I have to as a disabled person to come back home. In the state of Maryland, near Washington, D.C., that is what I expect. In the words of Edward R. Murrow, good night and good luck.